What's happening, guys? I wanted to come on here and talk about why the mentoring and coaching space is so overly saturated with people that don't really care about understanding their clients and helping their clients achieve their goals. There obviously are some coaches out there that are really, really good and that really, really want to help their clients. But I can tell you from my personal experience, because I've hired coaches and I've hired mentors, the problem is that I don't think they really understand the core issue. Okay, like they don't understand. It's not like a mindset thing, and it's not a thing that really you can just fix overnight. Okay, a lot of times they're not having like any perspective on where their client is at, or what they're actually going through. Okay, and I'm going to give you guys a few examples of this. It's just my experience over the years hiring certain coaches for certain programs to learn a certain skill has not been that great. And I'm not going to say that it's completely their fault. I'm not going to say that it's completely my fault either. I'm just going to tell you that it's not what it seems. And listen, you guys are smart enough to know that whenever you see a coach or a mentor that's pushing real hard on social media to try to get you to buy their program or buy their course, you guys already know. You guys are already smart enough to understand that a lot of times it's too good to be true. Okay, now there are that's the thing. It's a gamble because you really don't know. Like sometimes it could be a really good coaching program, and other times it's not, and you really don't know. And I'm not faulting anybody who buys programs or hires mentors or buys coaching, because we're all trying to level up. We're all trying to get better. Okay, and eventually, it's like I talked about in my last video. Eventually, I'm going to start. I mean, I already do. I already do offer one-on-ones, and I do offer free consulting sessions. Okay, obviously, I'm not at a point where I've launched a full-scale coaching brand, but the point is that I just want to provide as much value as possible. And for right now, if the only value that you guys get from me is from my content, then that's great. Because the thing is, I'm not in any hurry to get this going. Like, obviously, my purpose of doing this channel and my purpose of creating content for however many months or however many years that I'm going to do it is going to be to provide value. But I also want to be able to help you guys in whatever you're dealing with in your day-to-day, or in your dating, or just whatever it is that you're dealing with. I want to be able to help men grow and help them get better, and whatever I can do to help. And if that means you watching my free content for an extended period of time, then great. And if that means that we jump on a one-on-one call at some point, then great. But all I'm trying to tell you guys is that I'm never going to push you to, buy my stuff over me. Just like, if you get more value from me just talking to you through the YouTube videos and stuff like that, and that's all you need, then great. Just keep doing what you're doing. Okay, you don't need to book anything with me. But the point I'm trying to make is that I'm always here for you guys. I'm always here to assist you guys if you need further assistance. Okay, just think of me as like an older brother, and just a third person perspective on what you're dealing with. Okay, I'm not saying I'm a licensed anything. I'm saying that I'm somebody that's been through certain things in life, and now I'm just here to give my experiences and to help you guys in any way possible. Okay, because I've been in the coaching space and I've been in the mentoring space, and I've hired a lot of these people, and what ends up happening is you get on board with them, and then they become very hard to reach, and they start putting all of the issues on you. Okay, and I've talked about this in a previous video as well. Instead of focusing on your strengths, they focus on your weaknesses, and they give you like this whole task list of things that you need to do, but they're not focused on what you're actually doing that's right. Because nobody wants to feel like they're wrong about everything. Okay, people want to feel like they're actually doing something right. Well, whatever it is, it could be the smallest thing. But if you sit there and you critique every single thing that they're doing, then they're never going to level up, and they're never going to grow, and they're never going to trust you, because they're going to think that you're basically just doing this for your own interest. Okay, and I think that's the biggest issue. Like, okay, here's what I've noticed. Okay, what I've noticed in the coaching space is that what happens is you'll get on board, and you're all excited, and the emotions are high, and you're like, man, I can't wait to do this, and the coach is telling you, yeah, let's get ready to kick ass and all that stuff, and your dopamine is spiked, and you think that everything's going to be great because you got this coach and you got this mentor. But see, what happens is, really quickly, you start to realize that this person is not a savior. This person isn't going to save you from yourself. Okay, the only person that can do that is you. And if you can hire mentors and you can hire coaches, but a lot of times you have to remember that they're trying to make money. Okay, they're trying to make money, and they don't care about at least a lot of them don't. A lot of them don't care about your results over them making a profit. So just remember that they're trying to make money first and foremost. It's a business. Okay, coaching is a business. Don't ever let them tell you that it's not. It is a business. When I start coaching men, I'm going to be running a business. Okay, I'm going to be charging money, and I'm going to be making an income off of coaching. But the point I'm trying to make is that it doesn't have to be like what all these other people are doing. The way that I'm going to structure it is I'm going to provide value first, to value-driven exchange. I'm going to be providing value first, and then if you want further assistance, then you can hire me as a coach. But I'm not going to ever sell you anything that you don't need, or that try to sell you over giving you value, because I just want to provide as much value as possible. Okay, I don't see a lot of people doing this. I see them trying to make a profit over actually helping you. And then what they do, and this is what I also talked about in my last video, is that they try to make you feel bad and feel like you're a piece of shit because you're not hiring them as a coach. Okay, all this bullshit about how not having money is not a real objection. It is a real objection, because the bottom line is, if you don't have the money and you don't have the credit and you don't have the funds to do it, it doesn't matter how much you will yourself into the situation. It doesn't matter if you want to do it. It doesn't matter if you think that you can do it. If you're not able to get the funds, it's not going to happen right at that moment. It doesn't mean that you're lazy. It doesn't mean that you're stupid. And it doesn't mean that you can't get the money. It just means that the means are not there right off the bat. Okay, not everybody has a couple $1,000s laying around to hire somebody as a coach. And the coach, their job is to run the business. So they're going to do whatever they can to get the money. They're going to do whatever they can. They're going to use whatever strategies that they can to try to convince you that you're not doing the right thing by not hiring them. Okay, but if you can understand what's happening, and listen, it's kind of funny, because I know what I'm telling you guys right now is completely contradictory to like what 99% of the coaching space does. So I know that they're probably going to be pretty frustrated that I made this video, because if they even care, because the bottom line is, I'm in this for the long game. Okay, I'm posting these videos because I want to build I want to build men up, and I want to build a channel that actually helps guys out, because there's too many money-driven people, and like I said, there's nothing wrong with making money. There's nothing wrong with having I have a business, and my sole purpose of the business is to make money. I run a detailing business, and that's what I do, is I make money. But I always try to give people more than what they pay for. I always try to take care of my clients first and foremost. So yes, they're paying me, but they know that they can come to me and I'm going to be honest and I'm going to tell them straight up what they need or what they don't need. And if they don't need something, I may lose money on the front end, but I'm going to make more money on the back end, because I'm going to always have people that are going to continue to come back to me because they know that I'm an honest person. And I may have lost money over the years because of it, and I may not have made as much money as some of these guys who are really, really pushing their sales and their marketing, but that's just not who I am, okay? I want to provide as much value as I can, and then on the back end, I'll have regular clients. I'll have people that actually trust me, and that's what it's all about. You want people to trust you, okay? Because if you don't trust me, then what's the point of me telling you any of this stuff? Like, you have to understand that I'm doing this because I actually care and I actually want to help, because I have been in so many situations where, I hired a coach or a mentor thinking that this was like really going to change my life. And I was disappointed because it's not that I got screwed over. It's that I had higher expectations going into it, thinking that this person was actually looking out for my best interest. And then when I realized is that they were actually looking out for their own, bank account and their own self-serving interests, which is typically them looking better, because most people want you to get results so that it makes them look better, makes them look like they're a good coach, okay? But results speak for themselves. So you don't have to have somebody tell you how great everything is, or actually like do everything that you're telling them to have, like, be a good coach. Like, it's okay if that person is, kind of doing their own thing. But I've actually had, previous coaches and mentors that I've hired that actually got upset with me because I told them I'm not where I want to be, and I'm not going to be able to do the things that I'm doing in this program. It's just not going to work. Like, I need to focus on my real life. I have real life situations that I'm dealing with, and I can't necessarily do exactly what you're telling me to do. And they'll tell you that you're lazy. They'll tell you that you're making excuses and this and that. And the bottom line is, people are only receptive to things that they feel are actually going to help them, and that they can actually trust that you have their best interest at heart. Okay? So I just want you guys to understand that not all coaching is bad, not all mentoring is bad by any means. But it's like I said in my previous video, you have to find the right mentors. You have to find the right people that are going to guide you down the right path, and not people that are just trying to suck your bank account dry. Because they will do that. And then what they'll do is they'll tell you that it's your fault that you're not where you want to be. They'll tell you that and this has nothing to do with not taking responsibility. You need to take responsibility for your life. But like I said, just because you don't pay somebody to have them as a coach doesn't mean that you're any less of a person. It just means that maybe you're not at the point where you need that type of coaching. Maybe you're not at the point where you have the money to spend. Because not everybody has the ability to just spend that type of money. They don't have the ability to drop thousands of dollars on coaching. But at some point, maybe they will. Maybe they will have the money, and they have money to blow, and they can do it. But I'll never criticize you guys for not, taking my advice or hiring me as a coach or whatever. And I won't. I talked about this yesterday. I won't ever try to use my pain as a selling point. I won't ever try to tell you guys that I am suffering I suffered so much, and because of my suffering, this is why you need to buy my program. Okay? And I'm probably going to lose a lot of money by doing this. I'm probably going to lose a lot of potential clients by doing this. But the biggest thing for me is I'm playing the long game. Okay. I've been posting on this channel for a week now, and my goal is to post as much as I can and just to get as much value as I can out there. I'm not trying to make a ton of money right now. I'm not trying to like scale this coaching business right off the bat. Okay. People have to see that I'm serious, and they have to actually watch my content and understand that I'm just a regular guy that just decided that I wanted to take a risk and I wanted to start making content so that I could help other men with whatever it is they're dealing with. Okay? I'm not claiming to be rich. I'm not claiming to be any kind of doctor or psychologist or therapist or anything. I'm just somebody who's been through enough of life in 30 years that I feel like I can give some kind of value to you guys. And if you hate my content, then you don't ever have to watch me again. But if you like my content, I'm not charging you anything right now. I'm only giving you as much value as possible. And at some point, if you decide that you want to book something with me, then we're going to work out a price that works for both of us. Because that's what I've always done in my business. It's never been the price is the price. And that's another thing I want you guys to remember too. If you're an entrepreneur or you're somebody that's trying to get into business, just remember that unless you run some kind of business where you're selling an actual product, like whatever it is, maybe you're selling a t-shirt, maybe you're selling food, or you're selling, maybe you are selling some kind of coaching program. The thing about coaching and the thing about mentoring and the thing about even like the business that I'm in, like I'm a small business owner. I run a mobile detailing business. I've told you guys this a bunch of times. The thing about running a small business is that at the beginning and in the first few years, and even in the, even as you're staying at a lower level, you're allowed to adjust the price. Like you don't have to keep the same price as, let's say you state on your website that it's this much for X amount of product. You don't have to keep that price. You can always negotiate the price. You can always tell people, because I do it all the time in my detailing business. What I do is I tell people, they call me and they say, hey, I'd like to, find out more about your services. And I tell them, okay, it's, this is XYZ, and this is how much I typically charge. And they go, sometimes they'll say, okay. Sometimes they'll say, no problem. Other times they'll say, oh, that's really out of my budget. Now, this is how a true salesman, and this is how a true person that is a business owner knows how to deal with an objection. This is what they do. When the person says, that's out of my budget, you say, no problem. I work with clients all the time, and I try to make sure that I take care of my clients and that we come up with a price that works for both of us. Okay? I'm not here to oversell these people. I'm not here to, charge them something that's out of their price range. If their price range is $200, I say, well, why don't we do this? Why don't I do what I can for $200, and then I'll maybe tell them what I'm going to do, and then we can just go from there. If that works for you, then that works for me. So I'll do whatever I can for $200, and then if you decide that you want to use me later or whatever, then we can do that too. But the price is not always the price. I've seen a lot of people lose business over this because they think the price is the price, the price is the price. And that's just the wrong mentality, especially when you're a small business. You have to work with people, because not everybody is going to be able to afford your services. Now, if people can, then great, then let them pay. Like it's like if you walk into a tattoo shop and you want to get a tattoo, and you're fully prepared to spend whatever amount of money it is, or if somebody calls me for detailing services, they're fully prepared and they have the money and they don't care about the price, they're fully prepared. But I'm always willing to work with people on whatever it is that we can accomplish. So if the price is too high for them, I'm more than happy to negotiate, because I don't want to lose the sale. I don't want to lose them as a client. And I also want to take care of them. I also want to help them out. So if the price is for them, works better for them being a little bit lower, and it makes sense to me, then I'm happy to do it. And trust me when I tell you, you're going to build so much trust with your clients, and you're going to have so much more repeat business by doing this. I can't tell you how many clients have come back to me because of exactly what I'm telling you guys. So it really does work. Okay, you obviously do it within reason and make sure that you're not losing money. Like if somebody calls me for a detail and says, I'm only willing to spend $50, I'm like, well, I can't help you out with that. But I'm always willing to negotiate, and I've done it for years. And then what ends up happening is they always want to give you more in the long run. They either want to refer you to other people, or they want to give you a good tip, or they want to give you a referral, or they want to leave a review for you. It always comes back around. That's why I tell you guys to always make sure that you take care of people in life, because it will come back around. Trust me. I mean, I built my entire business off of referrals and word of mouth, and it's always come back around. Okay? So I just wanted to talk to you guys about that. I know I kind of got off course a little bit with the business stuff, but I feel like it directly ties into the coaching and mentoring space. And a lot of these coaches don't really have a lot of business experience, and what they do is they have a lot of sales experience because they've watched a lot of videos and they maybe have worked a sales job, so they know how to sell really well to people. But the problem is they don't know how to really relate to people. They don't understand where people are at, because the majority of people don't have as much money as they think. And it's not like they say either, because I know you guys have seen these videos where they say, well, here's the real objection. I'm going to tell you the real objection. It's not money. No, it is money. It is money. That's the real objection. Because if they had the money and they were making a shit ton of money, then it wouldn't even be they wouldn't even have the objection. They wouldn't even be telling you, oh, that's too much, I can't do that. If they had the money, they would say no problem. They wouldn't need to be sold. And I know that because in my detailing business, if I tell somebody the price and they say no problem, then I don't even have to, my job is done. My job is done. All I have to do is do the work. I don't have to negotiate with them. So whenever you hear a salesperson say that, when they say, well, here's the real I'm going to tell you what the real objection is. It's bullshit. The real objection is the fact that they don't have money. Like, that's what it really boils down to. It's not complicated. This isn't like rocket science, okay? And you're going to see a lot of sales gurus that are going to tell you otherwise. They're going to tell you the real objection. And the thing is, these guys are great salesmen, okay? Don't get me wrong. Like, they're the best. Okay, if you can get people past that point and you can get them to give you money because they're so convinced that you're going to take care of them, then that's great. I'm here to tell you guys that maybe I'm not as good at sales as these guys, but I'm almost honest to a fault, okay? And I feel like that's probably hurt me in some ways, but in other ways, I feel like it's an advantage because you have longer retention. You have people that actually trust you and actually know that you're not going to bullshit them. So that's just something that I've always done in my own business, and I think you can apply that to any business, honestly. So you want to always provide value first, and then make sure that you take care of them and they get results, whatever business it may be in, especially in the coaching space. But you just want to make sure you take care of people. I mean, that's all you can do. You can't force them to get the results, but you also don't want to treat them like they're disposable. You always want to treat people well. So at least that's what I'm going to do, and at least that's what I always try to do. So, but that's all I got. Anyways, I'll talk to you guys later, okay?